Have you ever finished a long day at work and someone casually asks you, "So, what do you usually do after work?"
At first, the question sounds simple, but if you're learning English, your mind might suddenly slow down. You might start thinking about vocabulary, grammar, and how to explain your routine clearly.
That situation happens to many English learners. Questions about your daily life appear constantly in real conversations. Coworkers ask it during lunch, friends ask it when you're chatting, even someone you just met might ask about your evening routine.
And the interesting thing is that people often ask this question just to start a friendly conversation. They're not expecting a complicated answer.
Simple answers are completely natural.
So today, we're going to practice a relaxed and realistic conversation about what people do after work.
You'll hear everyday vocabulary, natural expressions, and the kind of phrases native speakers use when talking about their evenings. I'm Anna.
And I'm Leo. By the end of this conversation, you'll feel much more confident answering the question, what do you usually do after work?
And if you enjoy learning English through real conversations like this, please remember to like the video and subscribe to the English Talk channel.
Your support helps us continue creating helpful lessons for English learners around the world.
All right, Leo, let's jump into today's conversation. Leo, let me ask you something. When you finish work in the evening, what's the first thing you usually do?
Honestly, the first thing I do is pause for a moment and enjoy the quiet. After a busy day full of emails, meetings, and conversations, that small moment of silence feels incredibly refreshing.
That sounds familiar. Sometimes even 30 seconds of quiet can feel wonderful after a long day.
Exactly. Then I usually change into comfortable clothes. It's a small habit, but it helps me mentally switch from work mode to home mode.
That makes sense. It creates a clear separation between work time and personal time.
Right. Once I do that, my brain finally starts to relax.
Do you usually stay home after that, or do you go somewhere?
Most evenings, I go to the gym.
Right away?
Pretty much. I've learned something about myself over time. If I sit on the couch first, there's a good chance I won't leave the house again.
That's very relatable. Once you sit down and get comfortable, motivation disappears quickly.
Exactly. So I try to keep my momentum going and head straight to the gym.
What kind of exercises do you usually do?
Some days I lift weights, other days I do cardio, like running on the treadmill or cycling.
That sounds like a balanced routine.
I try to mix things up so it stays interesting.
Have you ever had a strange experience at the gym?
Actually, yes. Something funny happened last month.
Now I'm curious.
So I was running on the treadmill and listening to music with my headphones.
Okay.
Suddenly, the treadmill stopped.
What happened?
Apparently, I accidentally pulled the emergency safety cord.
Oh no.
The machine stopped immediately, and I almost lost my balance.
That must have been surprising.
It was. The person on the treadmill next to me looked very confused.
Well, at least you didn't fall.
Exactly. That would have been much worse.
Do you feel like exercising helps you relax after work?
Definitely. After a day full of meetings and deadlines, exercise helps release stress.
Right. It clears your mind.
Exactly. There's a common expression in English for that, blow off steam.
That's a great phrase.
When someone says they need to blow off steam, they mean they want to release stress or frustration.
For example, someone might say, "After work, I go for a run to blow off steam."
That's a perfect example. What about you? What does your evening usually look like?
My evenings are usually quieter. When I get home, I head straight to the kitchen and start preparing dinner.
Do you cook every day?
Most days, yes. Cooking helps me slow down after a busy day.
What kind of meals do you usually make?
During the week, I keep things simple. Pasta, vegetables, rice, or chicken.
That sounds practical.
After work, I don't want to spend 2 hours cooking.
Have you ever had a cooking disaster?
Oh yes, I remember one evening when I tried a new recipe.
What happened?
The recipe said to add 1 teaspoon of salt,
Okay.
but I accidentally added 1 tablespoon instead.
That's a big difference.
Exactly. The dish became incredibly salty.
Could you still eat it?
Not really. I tried adding more vegetables to fix it, but the flavor was still too strong.
Cooking mistakes happen to everyone.
That's true. Now I always double-check measurements.
What do you usually do after dinner?
Most evenings I relax for a while.
Watching TV?
Sometimes. Other evenings I read a book.
Reading can be very relaxing.
It really is. It helps me disconnect from screens and slow down before bedtime.
Do you ever watch TV shows in the evening?
Occasionally.
Do you watch one episode or several?
I usually plan to watch just one.
And then?
Then the next episode starts automatically.
That feature is dangerous.
Exactly. Suddenly, it's midnight.
That situation sounds familiar. Do you ever meet friends after work?
Sometimes, especially near the end of the week.
What do you usually do together?
We might meet for dinner, grab coffee, or take a walk.
That sounds relaxing.
Spending time with friends really improves my mood after a long day.
Speaking of coffee, something funny happened to me recently at a coffee shop.
What happened?
I ordered a coffee to go.
Okay.
When the barista called my name, I didn't hear it because I was looking at my phone.
That happens sometimes.
5 minutes later, I walked up to the counter and asked about my order.
And?
The barista pointed to the counter behind me.
Oh no.
My coffee had been waiting there the whole time.
That must have been a little embarrassing.
Just a little.
Sometimes the evening routine feels even more important after a difficult day at work.
That's very true.
I remember one day last month when everything went wrong.
One of those days.
My computer froze during an important meeting.
That sounds stressful.
Then, my internet connection stopped working for about 10 minutes.
That's the worst possible moment.
By the end of the day, I felt completely exhausted.
What did you do after work?
I went for a long walk outside.
That sounds like a good decision.
Fresh air helped me calm down and reset my mind.
What about evenings when you stay home?
Those are often my favorite evenings.
Really?
Yes, quiet evenings give me time to recharge.
What do you usually do?
Sometimes I read, sometimes I listen to music, and sometimes I simply relax.
Of course, not every evening is relaxing.
That's true.
Sometimes there are chores waiting at home.
Laundry, dishes, cleaning, those tasks never disappear.
Unfortunately not.
If you ignore them for too long, they pile up quickly. Your routine probably changes on weekends.
Definitely.
What do you usually do then?
Sometimes I meet friends, watch a movie, or try a new restaurant.
Weekends feel more flexible.
Exactly. There's no alarm clock early the next morning.
You know what's interesting, Leo? Our routines after work are actually quite different.
That's true. Your evenings sound calmer than mine.
Right. When I finish work, I usually go straight home and start cooking dinner.
Meanwhile, I'm usually heading to the gym.
Exactly. So while you're lifting weights or running on a treadmill, I'm probably chopping vegetables in my kitchen.
That's a funny image.
After dinner, I like to slow down even more. I might read a book or listen to music.
At that time, I'm usually finishing my workout and heading back home.
Then what happens?
When I get home, I take a shower and relax for a bit. Sometimes I watch a show or read something online.
So your relaxation starts a little later in the evening.
Exactly. My routine has more movement at the beginning, and relaxation comes afterward.
Mine is almost the opposite. I start relaxing earlier.
But both routines help us recharge after work.
That's the important part.
Right. Everyone's routine looks different, but the goal is the same, to relax and reset after a busy day.
And that's something every English learner can talk about in a conversation.
Exactly. Talking about your routine is one of the easiest ways to practice everyday English. You know, having a routine after work can really help reduce stress.
I agree. When your evenings follow a pattern, life feels more organized.
Exactly. It creates balance.
Exercise, cooking, relaxing, those habits help people recharge. This topic is also perfect for English learners to practice speaking.
Absolutely.
You can answer the question with simple sentences.
For example, I cook dinner. I go to the gym. I watch Netflix. I read a book.
Short answers like these are very natural in everyday conversations.
And that brings us to the end of today's conversation about what people do after work.
We hope this helped you feel more confident talking about your daily routine in English.
Try answering this question yourself. What do you usually do after work?
Describe your routine step by step.
The more you practice speaking about your real life, the easier conversations will become.
If you enjoyed practicing with us today, please like the video and subscribe to the English Talk channel.
Thank you for practicing with us today.
Keep learning, keep speaking, and we'll see you in the next conversation.
Goodbye for now.